Welcome to Open Arms, an honest conversation about firearms. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Brian Lockerman. I've been finding out more and more that a lot of shooters have a lot in common. We all like boating, motocross riding. We are maybe musicians like drummers, you never know. And we like to see outdoor sports. And today I have James Hrabak, who kind of is similar to all my likes. It sounds like you're a drummer, right, James?
Used to be, yes.
And you boat because you're a harbor patrol.
I work for the Harbor Patrol, and we've got a lake boat, yes.
And you rode on a motorcycle?
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, we were just like two peas in a pod here, huh?
And we
Are we going to start playing Rudiments today?
And we like guns.
We love guns. That's true. That's good. So I got a couple questions about you. First of all, since you're a harbor patrol, let's start there. Now, when you are on duty, obviously, you're not carrying, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, do you ever come into any situations where you think you might need that, or has it just been pretty mellow?
In most cases, we're there to help boaters, boating safety, but there are occasions in the middle of the night where we get the sheriff's rolling or Oxnard PD to roll, and that's all taking place when we're proceeding to a scene, and then we stage and wait for them. If it's that serious of a situation, like a domestic or some sort of thing like that.
Gotcha.
If there's a breaking and entering that somebody's witnessing at the time, we get the sheriff or the Oxnard PD rolling right away. And then we can always call them off.
Gotcha. Okay. Very, very nice. I always wanted to do that. So you basically cruise around in a boat, then what you do, right?
Yes, we have 22-foot Boston Whalers with outboards on them. They're very nice boats.
That's got to be a really exciting job, right?
Yes, it's the best job in the world because I'm a boater.
Yeah.
At heart, I've always had boats, and I have my 100-ton license for the last 35 years, so I run charter boats, and I've worked for the Harbor Patrol for 17 years. So it's out in the water, you're helping people, you're seeing beautiful boats that people own, and best part about it is I don't own a boat, but I get to operate one every day.
Oh, that's it. What was that saying always? Your best boat is your friend's boat,
Right?
Or the other one is when you buy your boat, your best days is your first day you bought it and the day you sold it.
Yes.
You know
Amen.
what? I hear that, but I don't agree with that because I've had boats. I mean, for years.
Yes.
I'm a boater. I love it. Had an ocean boat for forever. Did all the islands constantly, and then I kind of switched up to lake boating, and been just lake boating ever since. It's just been
less maintenance.
Oh, 100% less maintenance. You don't have to worry about all the, bottom cleaning and all the other crap that goes on with the ocean. But
Corrosion.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, other than the harbor patrol, you say you do shoot. You have firearm training,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, we've got some formal training. We went to Front Sight Firearms with my whole family.
Oh, nice.
My wife came to me probably in 2020, and she says she never was a gun advocate. And I had a Colt 45 1911 for 35 years, stainless steel, beautiful piece of machinery, beautiful pistol. And I'd shoot it every once in a while, but I never had the budget to buy ammo in bulk to go shoot it all the time. So 2020, 2021, everything's happening. She says, whatever you do, go get what you need to take care of the family with firearms. So we went out and bought a shotgun. We bought plenty of ammo for the 45. Next thing you know, I'm buying Glock 19s, Smith & Wesson Shield for my daughter. So, but at that time, we got invited by a friend to go out to Front Sight for Rick Green's constitutional awareness class.
Oh, nice.
And so we went out there for a 2-day shoot. One day was spent with lectures from Rick Green, who's from Texas, and he was in tight with Front Sight. We bought memberships out there, and we took advantage of it. We probably went out there a total of 3 or 4 times for either a 3-day or a 4-day class. And the 4-day class was just phenomenal. Very structured.
Good.
Very by the basics. Very safety oriented. And it was just phenomenal. The whole family went and enjoyed it. And my wife was very nervous for the first time we went out there. But
yeah,
she was an excellent shot.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time we went out there, she was much more relaxed. She had her own pistol. And it was just great from then on. And now we train probably every 3 months. We go to various different ranges. And we do real life scenario type stuff. We'll get up on the range and warm up a little bit with 50 rounds or so, but then we'll do stuff that is actually practical to real life stuff. Like, what if you got caught at the Walmart in an active shooter type of thing? We are living in a wacky world
That's
right now.
true. That is true. You know what? Right there, audience, what he did with his family to take them to get training before he brought the guns home or whatever like that, that's incredible. That's what I'd like to hear. That's what the show Open Arms is all about. We want to see more people like James taking his family and getting them trained the proper way. I really do commend you for that. That's awesome.
Well, another thing I want to point out is on your other shows is safety and getting trained. Even if you're not a gun advocate
Uh-huh.
or enjoy shooting or you're scared of pistols or rifles, you need to have some kind of training because like I said a minute ago, we live in a wacky world.
It's true.
You know, you never know when you're going to have to pick up the security guard's pistol that got shot. Unfortunately, that's the world we're living in right now.
I know. It's a shame, but it is true.
20 years ago, I would have never been
Nope.
having this conversation with you.
I know. Isn't it crazy? You know, I mean, just we looking at the statistics of guns being bought in the United States right now, it's just off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
In the year 2020 to 2022, there were 60 million firearms purchased in the United States. Now, in the year 2022, there were 19.9 purchased, and 5.4 million of those were first-time gun owners. Now, with that group, that's why I wanted to put this show out, because you know that 5.4 million are not all doing what you did, going to safety training, going to the courses like that. And I think that's just so necessary to keep everybody safe. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And how many of those are women?
Oh,
and yes, I said women.
That's a huge one right now.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but the consistency in training, you know, going to the range and plinking like you talk about is one thing. Learning how to use your reset and where your trigger release is, that's great for the range. But it's really great to go get some formal training with an instructor. Take those tactics to the range or an outdoor range like Piru and utilize them and practice them. Don't just buy the gun, take a couple lessons, put it in the drawer and hope you never need it.
I know. I beat my friends in the head talking about that constantly, you know. That's a good point what you came up with right there. And you're right about the female the female shooters now are just, they're coming in by the droves and signing up for classes. In fact, we have a show today with a call-in from the East Coast, which is a female training facility, and we're going to have our female trainer on the show as well, because it's getting huge. A lot of these females now are thinking to themselves, okay, well, I got to protect myself. I can't rely on my husband or my boyfriend or something like that. Maybe they're a single mom, or they're just, you know, or even if they are married, they just want to have that security that they can protect themselves as well.
Well, and another thing too is the states, some states more than others, Callahady, are taking rights and authority away from police, and they're dropping like flies off the force. So,
That's true.
You know, you may think a police officer is 5 minutes away if you call 911, but it could be 10, 15 minutes, and that could be an eternity.
Oh, yeah.
If you're waiting for help to show up.
I agree with you there. So how are you? A good shot on the range?
Pretty decent.
Do you think it has anything to do with your drumming?
No.
I always tell people, because my coordination as a drummer, that's what makes me a good shot.
That just makes me a better motorcycle rider.
Right? I agree. Do you do any kind of off-road riding?
No.
No, you don't.
No, I used to have a Dakar, a BMW Dakar dual sport, but I never really got a chance to take that off road like it should have been.
Yeah. I love motocross riding. I love off-road riding. And that's one of my passions, just getting out in there and just doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
It's all the good outdoor stuff we love.
Right. Absolutely. And, shooting outside, there's nothing like shooting outside and setting up drills and that sort of thing at ranges that you can actually do it.
Exactly.
I
made the biggest mistake taking Nikki for her first time to an indoor range.
Okay.
I don't know what I was even thinking, and for her first time out, it was scary. because she's now in an enclosed environment. She's other people there. The percussion's so loud indoor, and she's just like, "Oh no, I don't know what these people are all about."
Right.
And I agree with her. I kind of looked at things thinking she's right. You know, that is something you don't know how trained they are or whatever, and you're in this real confined space. So then I got the opportunity to take her out, outdoor range, got her some training and stuff like that, and she fell in love with it.
Yes.
She really did. And she's very now she's not scared of being around firearms and things like that because she's trained and she knows the do's and the don'ts,
Right.
which is a great thing.
Well, and back to my wife, she's a great shot. She was just a natural because she had no inhibitions about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went out to Front Sight, and I hate to keep promoting that,
Well,
but
that's okay.
be aware they're out of business. Another business took them over, and they made some bad business decisions, which is really sad because
I know.
Anyway, on the 4-day, day 3 and 4, at the end of day 4, towards the end of day 4, we had a couple of competitions that we did. Malfunction competitions
Really?
where they were timed us, type 1, 2, and 3. And then there was a competition where 2 people side by side, we each had steel targets, and it was a race to see who could shoot the 5 targets, and the last target was a simulated hostage situation where you had to hit the steel target and not hit the gray target. And my wife made it to the finals on that, and she got beat out by a 21-year-old that
Really?
just had a little bit more on the draw on the trigger than she did. So
That's awesome that you guys as a family are going out and doing this stuff. It really is. I like seeing that because again, we really stress on the family values
yes,
with
absolutely.
the show, and it's a great thing to have the family do together. Not only are you learning something, but you're having a good time out there.
Well, and it teaches them the safety.
Exactly.
Once again, the safety. We can't express that enough. And teaching the children, the kids, that not to be afraid of it, to respect it, but not be afraid of it. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you also is some kind of first aid, basic first aid. If you're going to be carrying a gun or using guns, pistols, rifles, whatever the case, have some basic first aid and supplies with you. It's always good to have that.
100%. When we're on set and we're filming and we have a live fire, we always have the whole first aid kits on one of the vehicles that is kind of our vehicle that if something happens, they can get in it, go, and have the first aid kit there, and they're moving.
Right.
Knock on wood. I mean, I think we are just very, very safe when we're on set. We've never, ever in all the years ever had one incident. Because we do. We take the time. Our range officers, our safety officers, they go through everything over and over and over to make sure that we are safe.
Amen. Good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, got a question for you.
Okay.
You're a drummer.
Okay.
What kind of drums did you used to play?
Tama.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when I first started, I had a Ludwig. My mom bought me a Ludwig in junior high and a little 5-piece John Bonham type.
There you go.
Just played and played and played the Led Zeppelin and Kiss and Aerosmith and Ted Nugent and
Love it.
all the
Love it.
rock and rollers. So
it's funny because those sets back in the day, there were Slingerland and Ludwig.
yes.
I got a Slingerland set, so that's where I started. And again, I was playing with those same bands you're playing with those, and then I discovered Rush.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I have to figure
Right.
this out. I mean, when I discovered that band, so funny. I went to a concert. I went to a Black Sabbath concert. I don't know, I was 12 years old or something like that. Anyways, went to a Black Sabbath concert in a small little venue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we went in there, me and my friends, there was this giant drum set on the stage. And it says Rush on both the bass. I was like, wow, what is this? I want a Black Sabbath. I don't want to sit through this. This is going to be boring. And they come on stage, start playing. I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
What is going on? That next day, I went to the record store because we bought albums back in the day, of course. And I bought as many Rush albums as I could. And I put my headphones on, started playing my drums, started learning all Neil stuff. I just fell in love. And after that, I then switched to Pearl. I started playing Pearl drums.
Okay.
And when I got my record deal at the time, which is kind of a crappy record deal, didn't really go anywhere. But I always played Pearl from that point on for some weird reason. I don't know why, but I just liked them.
Loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You probably have a loyal heart
Yeah. Yeah.
and you want to stick with what you like. Yes,
Exactly.
I just bought Tama because they were the toughest drums on the market
They're
at
great.
that time.
They are. In fact, Neil played them for a little bit too.
Yes.
He was Slingerland first, then Tama, right?
Hmm.
I think he went to Gretsch after. Or did he go to Remo? I can't remember. I know they did some custom, really cool set.
I think it was DW. He ended up
Oh, maybe you're right.
finishing with DW,
I think you're right about that. I think you are. Yeah.
which is right down the hill.
I know it. I know it. Yeah. Those are good old days playing the strip down. Did you ever play the strip? Hollywood strip?
Once, yes.
Did you really?
A couple times actually.
What clubs do you play?
The whiskey a
Whiskey
go.
Go?
Yes.
Very cool.
I had a band, and some of the guys in the band were enlisted in the Navy, so
Oh.
we had a built-in band base.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a couple of times we rented buses and just bust them all down there with a couple cases of beer.
Very cool.
And they liked us and they had us back, but you know, the bus thing only happens a couple of times, and then people get tired of, or they get shipped out, especially in the Navy. So
Yeah, no doubt. I remember back in those days having that long blonde, thick hair. I looked like such a good looking chick back then. You know what I mean? Those were the hair band days, you know. But I still keep my hair a little bit long. I still can't get that last little bit off. You know what I mean? I'm still pretending I'm 20 years old in my rock band.
Right.
You know.
Right. No, and everybody in the band was from the Navy, so everybody had short hair.
Oh, yeah?
We got compared to Loverboy a lot.
Really?
We had a really strong and good singer. So
Oh, very cool. Yeah, man, we got a lot in common. I tell you, that's awesome. We kind of on these parallel paths, you know, and we just met each other just recently,
right,
which was
right.
was very very cool. I'm glad I did meet you because I mean I love meeting new people, like-minded, and you know, and we both are fighting for the same thing. We're fighting to try to get this state back.
Yes,
You know, that's a big one.
Yes.
We got these gun laws they keep coming up with, and like I was talking to you earlier today about the one gun store owner had on, the modifications they're doing in California are so ridiculous. They're making them more unsafe than safe,
right.
and they're just doing it just to mess with us,
Mm-hmm.
and they keep just chipping away at us and chipping away at us.
Chipping away.
You know, and we got to fight and we got to stand up for it. Now, one of the best organizations, I think, I don't know if you remember yet, CRPA, the California Rifle and Pistol Association.
No, I'm not a member.
You should really, I encourage everybody in California to sign up for that organization because that organization fights for us. And they do. Every one of these bills that try to get passed for like that, they are fighting it. And it's only like $50 a year to become a member, which is fantastic.
And that goes directly towards fighting legislators.
Absolutely. And what they have now, they have smaller branches. The VCGO, Ventura County Gun Owners, is a branch of the CRPA. We did a big presentation there not too long ago, the Open Arms team, and they loved it. It's a great organization. In fact, I'd recommend if you got the time, the next event is June 8th.
Okay.
And you can go on their website, vcgo.org, sign up for it. All like-minded people there. It's a great group. They're having a barbecue actually this next time, which would be fantastic. But I do encourage everyone to sign up for that.
And where is it held at?
It's held at the North Ranch Rec Center, which is right on Westlake Boulevard.
Okay.
So it's very easy to find.
Yeah.
They give you the directions and everything like that on the website. It's again, great group of people. You will fit right in. I promise you.
And another thing, back to the whole, well, thanks. And I'll look into that.
Absolutely.
And we'll get together. I'll put some notes down. Do you have a link in your, will you have the link?
We do somewhere. I'll get it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Our sheriff here, we've got new blood in as the sheriff here in Ventura County. So he's very, let's say, he's not against taking away people's concealed carry permits or making it more difficult. So
Good.
we've got that going for us. But another thing too is if you're planning on getting a CCW and getting it and acquiring it, look into the best insurance too.
Oh, 100%.
Because we are in such a sue happy society.
100% on that one.
And, you know, in a sense, I hate to play the victim card, but if we have to defend ourselves or defend our family, we are actually victims in the situation. So insurance companies help you to and walk you through the situation if you should have to use your firearm in a defensive situation, to where what to say to the police when they show up, what not to say to the police when they show up. But it's very, very good money spent.
I had an attorney on here, Second Amendment attorney. He was just preaching that. And the USCCA is a good organization to sign up for. They will help you. They will get you the right attorneys. They will help fight for you for your rights. It's a great, 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 great organization.
Right.
And again, the attorney was talking about situations like that. You're right. It's sad that we have to defend ourselves, and we could possibly get in trouble for it. And it shouldn't be that way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I know. I mean, you see these stories about like the couple that were defending their house when the Black Lives Matter were busting down the
Right.
That's all they had.
Exactly.
All they did, they were standing their ground with their firearms. And what happens? They get in trouble. They get their guns taken away from them. I don't think anything happened to them, but I think they never got their guns back, is what I understand.
Probably not.
Yeah. So it's just ridiculous.
Well, and not to dive down in deep in the politics or the voting rabbit hole too much, but try not to get discouraged about voting as well. Our primaries are coming up in March this year.
Yep.
This next year. And that's a crazy thing. They moved it up from June so nobody could really prepare after the holidays and first of the year. So I just stress to do your homework. Like my daughter just turned 18, so we're registering her to vote and helping her vote. And because how can the state of California, with the millions of signatures to recall Gavin Newsom, get submitted and it gets put on the ballot, but then only half or less of the people. Now, don't check me on that because I'd have to check my statistics there. But he still doesn't get recalled?
I know it, right?
Tell me that there's not something wrong with our voting.
Of course there is.
You know, I grew up thinking, hey, America doesn't have any problems like Venezuela or any corruptness. But, man, the last 3 years have just really opened our eyes about it.
I agree 100%. You're right about that. That's for sure. Well, this is great. Now, real quick, you how many kids do you have?
3.
3 kids. And what are their ages?
23. I have a girl that's 23, a young lady, a man son who's 20, and my 18-year-old daughter that just turned 18.
And she's the one who just got the new handgun?
Yes. They all have their own guns with the exception of my son. He moved out a little early and trying things on his own there. My wife has a pistol.
So when
well, go ahead.
I was going to ask you. So when they were younger in your house, did you go through any safety with guns with them at that time?
No, my Colt was locked up.
Okay.
My Colt was locked up, and that brings me to a point about gun safety: is have your pistols, rifles, guns secured.
Amen.
Because again, we live in a wacky society. All it takes is one break-in, and they're gone if you have them haphazardly stored.
Yep.
And there's another gun on the street, and we don't need that.
That's true. That is true. Well spoken. Thank you very much for that.
So either in a gun safe or lock them up, preferably a gun safe.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the biometric gun safes. I don't know if you've run into problems or anything.
No. Here the thing is with that. My training team will go, that's the last type of training. They go to their home to train them how to store their gun and stuff like that. Most people don't really have, they might not have the money, or they don't have the space or want a big, bulky, stand-alone gun safe. So what they do when they just have one handgun, they buy the biometric safes, which is better than nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, it is something that keeps it secured, keeps it locked up. Can somebody come in and take just the whole safe and run with it? Yeah, possibly, but at least if they have kids in the house, they're not going to stumble across a loaded gun. It's just laying under the bed willy nilly. It's going to be locked up with something. So that's kind of my take on safes like that.
Well, in your story that you had on a podcast the other day about your friend that had his pistol just underneath.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I would just like, come on.
Right.
I mean, and the day, like I was saying, the day that I was there, his grandkids were in the house running all around. I'm like, you can't do that.
Right.
That's just not. That's an accident waiting to happen right there.
So, my kids started to get involved when they were like 17. My youngest was 17. 16 is when we went out to Front Side all together.
Very nice.
So
very good. Well, good. Again, I'm glad you did it with your family. It sounds like you are definitely a family man and care about them and doing family things together. That's what it's all about, you know?
Well, and again, you mentioned family again. My wife and I are going on our 25th anniversary
Oh,
coming up here in October. So, through thick and thin,
there you go.
sickness and health,
Well, congratulations.
you got to stick to it. And it's because of our faith in God and Christ, he's the foundation.
There
He
you go.
kept it together. So,
There you go. Beautiful. Well, James, thank you very much for coming on my show. I'd like to bring you back, later dates to talk about more things. I think we have more to talk about because we have so much in common.
yeah,
And maybe someday, I like to actually bring you out to the range and
love to.
have some fun. We'll go to my private range and do some fun things. And
I love how you dropped that. My private range.
well,
It's so great.
it's our little piece of heaven out here that
Yes.
it's a private situation, which makes it nice. So you know who's always there.
Right, right.
It just works out so much better for us.
And at what I found at more lenient ranges, let's say, and I'm not saying that they're unsafe, but it's a chunk of money,
Oh yeah.
to buy, 300 rounds of ammo,
Mm-hmm.
a pistol, and Pyrook charges $300 for a private bay, and you can only have 4 people there.
Yeah.
But I need to go somewhere where I can practice the draw stroke and do the drills that we want to do in a practical real life
Exactly.
scenario. So
Well, I'll get you out to the range and we'll have some good times.
Great.
Right? Again, James, thank you very much.
thanks for having me.
Thank you, buddy. Well, that's our show for today. And I loved everything we spoke about today. It just brings me back to what safety and what family is all about. And remember, please follow us on Instagram. It's openarms.tv. Go to our YouTube channel, Open Arms TV. Subscribe. Comment below. If you want to be on the show, leave us a comment. It'll be fantastic. And always remember, safety, family, and the Second Amendment. Have a good day.